Welcome back to Arifureta Anime Review Episode 3. This is reviewing episodes 8 through 10, adapting from book 3 for the series. The book itself, in case you're wondering, was 247 pages. Yep, 247. And from what I could tell, they kept most of the book in. I did hear something that they apparently cut out the last 60 pages. From what I can tell for the anime, they kept pretty much most everything in. I think the only thing they cut from this thing is probably just the extra stories. Yeah, I mean, what happens in these episodes? Well, first off, you have Hajima and his group being hired by the leader of a guild to look for the son of the Count. The Count happens to be an old friend of the guild head, so he doesn't want to do it at first. But he's like, okay, get the money, okay, you get paid, so he wants to do Bar. And he has to obey everything he does. Like, okay, fine. And goes to Rice Bar, rides on his sweet motorcycle he has. Yep, with Yui sitting in front of him while he's driving, and she at the back. They drive straight to the rice village, where they run into his old teacher, and a few of his classmates. Yep. And the meeting is slightly different from the book itself, but I appreciate that they actually kept the scene in that they did change it per se, like of how the characters interact, but mostly put the same dialogue. Like, she's very happy to see him, Anko. Yeah, she's like very happy to see him, and goes to the table. In the book, basically, he went to their table. In the anime, he went to their table, basically, and he doesn't really explain fully exactly what happened to him. Yeah. Yeah, he goes like, what happened to your eye? It fell off. Your arm fell off. And he never, it's like basically he decided to avoid talking to her. He was kind of ignoring her, and of course there's no mention of the fact that Yui was telling Anko that the fact that, oh yeah, I'm his lover. Yeah. Yeah, no mention of that at all. And he's here because he's looking for, because he doesn't mention what the reason why he's here. Of course, I do like the little factoid. They do have something in common with, I've seen this in, like, an episode of Boruto recently, where, okay, we're running out of this particular spice, all because the spice has been attacked. They don't really fill up with this at all. Yep. Yeah, this happens before Hajima basically comes to them. And basically, he does talk to Uncle Levi, basically breaking into her room at night. And explains to her the real history of this place, where that the god that it worships is nothing more than is basically a terrible person who has no plan and basically uses his own thing for his playthings. The rest of them will try to rise up, but they end up getting nearly crushed. So these people the Mavericks created the labyrinths, which basically got his power from and also his clothes from his current clothes he's wearing. Yep, and basically Uncle doesn't want to go with him, so he does. First he brings out his motorcycle, then he goes to the back and ring, and then he brings out his other vehicle, his big Humvee, where in the front you have Hajima driving. Sitting next to him is his teacher, and then sitting in the window seat is Yui with Shay behind him, and of course the rest of the students. And after some time, basically looking for the Count's son, they send so basically like these video cameras in the sky. They look at it. They come across some remains, and then they eventually find out where the Count's son is. They find him pretty quickly too, hiding behind a waterfall. And he does basically kind of wake him up by licking him in the forehead. Of course, he's treated. He does explain what happened. That this black dragon, came and attacked them and basically killed his two bodyguards. Yeah, it was mentioned that Eva Chalmers wasn't having muscle. That's his terms. Basically bodyguards, which I think the guildmaster probably understood what he was saying. Chalmers was a muscle, basically bodyguards. Either they were killed, yeah, and they do battle the dragon. It's a pretty good fight sequence, and I gotta say, of all the monsters who appear in the anime, the dragon looks the best. Yeah. So the dragon turns out to be a woman. Yep. Now, most of the time when they show the monster series, they look really, really bad. ponytail. The dragon, I think they actually took their time with this thing. And, well, then they defeat it after they pin it out by putting a pole in her butt. Yep. Oh yeah, and she's a masochist. Masochist, basically she loves getting beaten. And turns out the reason why she attacked the Count's son, his name was Will, is because she was manipulated. Yeah. Took a whole day to cast a spell, attack them. Yep. And, oh yeah. And she transformed into a smoking hot woman wearing this very revealing outfit. Tells her that there's this army attacking Yui. Hydra was like, my job is done. I don't need to worry about this town. I'm taking the Count's son back. So they actually have him disappear after this. Yeah, the Count's son is like almost completely forgotten about. Because right after this, it goes in town. Now, this is done via montage. Yes, a montage of them back when in town. In the book itself, there's a lot more stuff here. Like Hydra basically the town leaders trying to explain the stuff. And of course, Will basically taking part in evacuating the town. And then of course, he basically proudly became how much of an awesome person his beautiful teacher is. So they pretty much take on the army. And they win. Yeah. And then, of course, Hydra figures out who was behind this. It's Suze, the one who went missing. And he had former contact with demons. Yep, former contact with demons. Just impress his teacher. And then he tries to kill her. So he does scratch her. And Shay basically decided to jump and help her. Yep, helps her. And saves her life. Of course, Hydra takes him out, and of course, well, he's wounded, and it's like, okay, he uses his little special bullet thing to help. Shay's like, okay, not me first, help me teacher first. And then he proceeds to give her mouth to mouth. And she's like, yeah, she's basically shocked to see that one of her favorite students is making out with her. Yeah, and of course it's brought up before about how Hydra stole her first kiss. It's like, that's mouth to mouth, not first kiss, but that kind of counts as the first kiss. And I don't know if this is Echo's her first kiss or not. I don't know. It's really very weird. And then he just basically, he finds out the way he's explaining, like, oh yeah, I will reform. He's like, nah, you're lying, and shoots him dead. Shocking Anko. Now they do cut some dialogue here about how, like, if you basically become an enemy, won't hesitate to hurt you. And, well, then basically Hydra and his party, which is now Tio the dragon, yeah, decides to tag along with him because I think she's probably fallen in love with Hydra. Everyone tends to be. And hops in the Humvee. The students probably take the long way back because they agreed to help him find the Count, and then they'll go separate ways. And they hop in the Humvee and they drive off. And that's the episodes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Interesting, I say the fight with the monster army in episode 10, and I do agree they do cut some stuff here, but mostly put some of the stuff basically that ended this book. Basically, is started up with next episode. I'd say for the stuff that kept in, they did a pretty good job keeping in adapting a book that is, like I said, 247 pages. Yeah, that's a strange thing when it comes to series. Like the first book, it's almost 400 pages, like 397. Last book was like 200, I think it was like 50 something. Yeah, the books keep getting shorter and shorter with each book, but still over 200 pages. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, well, that'd be pretty much it for videos tonight. Yeah. Stay tuned for tomorrow where I'll discuss the final 3 episodes. I'll do 2 more videos for this series. One discussing the last 3 episodes of the season, the other one discussing the 2 OVAs, and then finally I'll go back to watching One Piece. Yep. See you in the next video. Bye.